The wonderfully warm tones of Amelia Underwood King warming up what is a fairly chilly November night here in Aldershot as these sides get ready to take on each other in this special occasion live from the Army Rugby Stadium in Aldershot. Standing together, of course, to remember the sacrifices of those who came before and laid down their lives in service. These teams met in the corresponding fixture last year, and time for a quick look back at what happened in 2024.
So, your British Army team tonight.
It's been fairly mild of late given the time of year, but a testing breeze meets the players of the British Army and the US military on this storied turf at the Army Rugby Stadium. It's a delight to welcome back on the mic a man who's no stranger to plenty of Army success in that red shirt and indeed the UK Armed Forces over the years, Major Will Reeve, and also a warm welcome to a man with plenty of US 7s and 15s pedigree and a veteran of 4 World Cups on the mic. Alan Stanford. Gentlemen, good evening. What a game we have in store for you tonight.
Simon, good evening. Thank you very much. As you say, what an evening we've got ahead of us under the floodlights here in Aldershot. And you can feel it all building under the lights, on the microphone, with the standards ready to be raised and the teams ready to come out.
Well, Simon and Will, it's great to be here with you. I've been embedded in the camp at Sandhurst Royal Military Academy with the USA military team, and what an honor it is for these players to be here. They have veterans included this year for the first time for this historic tour, and it gives meaning to these players after they get out of the military and they're still actively involved here. It is a wonderful tour, and we can't wait for this game to kick off.
That's brilliant to hear, Dallin, as you say, the honour for the players being part of this particular fixture. And of course, Will Reeve, we know what this means, this particular venue as well, the home of Army Sport and the Army Rugby Stadium. It's a special place to host tonight.
It really is, and on no other day. We've seen Remembrance fixture last week with the UK Armed Forces against a really strong German national side. Of course, we then experienced the weekend on Sunday morning where the nation stood still, if not the world. And again, we're able to mark what a special time with another great fixture. And I know the Americans, having travelled and played one game already last week, will be keen to run out again. Slightly different team and some real energy that they'll bring into this evening.
And to our American fans watching as well, it's Veterans Day back home there, and a big thank you to everybody who has served, and to all the families tuning in as well, watching their beloved ones take the field here today. It's a very special moment, and it was fitting for us to be at Sandhurst as well, to experience that with the group. And like I said, it's a self-funded group as well, with some corporate partners also. I think we've got to bring attention to that, and big plans for the future to host the British Army in the United States in May 2026, Pacific Northwest, and potentially on the East Coast as well. And this fixture is here to stay.
It's great to hear, and you've been, as you mentioned, on the periphery of the training camp for the US players, and Will Reeve, hearing about how this might grow in the future and potential trips out there as well. What's been the feeling in the Army camp?
Well, so as you say, really exciting about how this grows. I know there's, across the entire Army Rugby Union, everyone looks forward to this fixture. It not only marks an amazing time of year, but it's the kick-starting of the season. It gives... it's right at the heart of the under-23s as they build. The Masters are starting to generate some activity, and then the Senior 15 are coming together. And who knows, if we can go and replicate this over in America, I'm sure the guys might hang on for another season or two to get that opportunity.
Well, as we look out onto the pitch, and both sets of players walking out, and flag bearers before them, of course, in this most special of days, Armistice Day, as you say, Veterans Day as well, down in Stanford in the United States. So warm welcome to all of you joining our live coverage, wherever you may be. Do indeed, please feel free to send through your comments. Let us know where you're watching as well. We always like to get a bit of a geographical viewpoint too, as these players stand home gross of the United States. And Pete Austin leading the British Army tonight with their Reeves. An amazing occasion, and ushered onto the pitch with some warm applause as well from those who've braved some fairly chilly conditions to be down here in Aldershot. An amazing occasion as we get set to remember. Amelia Underwood-King, the singer, just being helped with that umbrella as well to ensure that the vocal cords don't get too cold. And we'll stand
standing for the act of remembrance
as we remember
by the national anthems. They shall not grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow we gave our today. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain upstanding for the national anthem of the United States of America, performed by Amelia Underwood King.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies red were, the bombs bursting in them, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national anthem of Great Britain.
God save our gracious King. Long live our noble King. God save our King. Send him victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save our King.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for the wonderful Miss Amelia Underwood King.
Lovely applause for Amelia Underwood King singing both anthems.
From Five
The
Rifles.
bugler Major Sebusen, 5 rifles, with those notes piercing the Hampshire air. As we're just moments away from kickoff, British Army going head-to-head with the US military in Aldershot. And time for a quick look at the teams, starting with those in red. British Army, vice-captain against the Germans for Remembrance at King's Home last week. Pete Austin leads the Army side tonight, joined by McGregor, Smith and Smith in the front row. And that well-tested partnership of Mikey McDonald and Jack Johnson in the halfbacks. The pace of Imi Korawali at outside centre. What will he do tonight? Player of the match against Germany after scoring a brace from the wing last week. And that US military team led by Colin Gross, who was blindside flanker in this fixture last year, in the number 8 shirt tonight, and Shane Palmer and Maliki Mulatalo in the halfbacks as well. Rebecca Piddleston, the referee tonight. And some of you who watched the Women's International Defence Rugby competition this summer may remember her. Very active referee this year. Great to see her line out again tonight. And Dallin, the US team, getting ready to kick off to their British counterparts. Full of experience there, and certainly some new names this year too.
Yeah, 18 players, they return, 12 new names. Look out for Freddie Tafuna. He's going to be one to watch. He's in the 3 jersey.
They get started rather quickly, trying to get quick ball here, the US military. Spreading that through the hands of Celia Messina. Messina of Alaska Misfits. He was on the bench to start with last year, as Jack Bristol makes his presence felt there. And Adam Castle going in to play scrum half. Trying to hit that gain line hard, the US military. Decked out in their white shirts and trying to duck inside. A very nice little half break there from Shane Palmer. The Army so far very watchful in defence, as Mati Tego takes it into the line rather forcefully. The ball dribbles into touch. But a nice start from the Americans, Dallin. And trying to play some quick rugby, it seems.
Yeah, very nice possession, just getting early touches, which I think is so vital in a game like this. They haven't had many days to prepare for this fixture, and I think that is the challenge. And Will, you attest to this, when teams come together from 5 different branches and try to play on the same page, it takes a little while to develop that. And we noticed in the game on Friday, in the second half, the chemistry started to gel in the team they played, and this is a decent start.
Well, they'll be really pleased to recover their own kickoff, right? That's a really great way to start. You can see the intent from straight off the bat. Kick a short one, get people in the air, try and get that ball back, and like you say, get some early touches. I was a little bit surprised to not see them explode to that edge when they win their own kickoff, but here we go, the Army doing just that, getting it outside off that line-out ball.
Taken in Filiame Kotabalavu in the line-out. Mikey McDonald, dual code star for the Army, moving that quickly through the hands, but it's back in the possession of the US military. Trying to get some more territorial advantage in these early stages. Finding the forwards, but nice bit of handling there as well as it comes out to Castle. Fullback darting back inside. Looking for route one, some of the forwards. Aaron Retter there. Nice little offload back to Adam Castle. Some of those hits just being heard as well. The ferocity of those challenges. Ball coming back out and tracked down well there by Matt Dawson. Number 8 for the Army. A little grubber trying to come through, but a deflection and into the hands of the open side Nyagi. What will McDonald do? Looking to go blind. Just first bit of continuity and possession now for the British Army. Johnson, the little grubber through. What space is there in behind for Conor O'Reilly? He's chasing that hard, but well swept up by the US military. They've earned themselves a penalty as well, and good work in defence.
Yeah, coming across there, AJ Castle doing really well. He very active early on the game as the fullback as well. Interesting story about him. He grew up in the UK for 20 years before moving to the US to join the Army, so he said he's going to get plenty of abuse from the opposition today.
Interesting to get his thoughts post-game, absolutely. Man with almost both foot in both camps as they look to clear the lines, the US military, but hasn't found touch, and Mikey McDonald is onto that in a flash, looking to see what options he has outside him, and getting it through the hands wide here as well, and looking to use his pace. That's wonderful stuff, and Korowale on the left wing just almost going to hand it, coming back into the hands of the fullback, just meters away now and earning a penalty as well, the Army. That's good stuff from them, getting into that 22, making use of that territory. But he seems to be limping a bit as well, Mikey McDonald. It was good vision from him and utilise some of that space on the left.
It's not a bad picture to have outside you, is it? Mikey McDonald looks up, he's got Solo Radiranirova, he's got Luke Rockamothe and Nimi Korowale all onside, all looking for ball in hand. And you can see the pace from Rockamothe there, doing his job.
Well, it hasn't been secured by the Army, and the US military come away with it here. Looking for their escape, but once again another deflection, and back into the hands of the white shirts. Well, engross the skipper this time. Shane Palmer lines his forwards up, ready for reception. It's fairly intense hit there, Tafuna, as he described a short time ago, Dallin. And, coming through the middle, Lutalo. Penalty for the British Army. It's been a bit back and forth in terms of possession so far.
Yeah, it really has. A good little pinch there at the line-out time by Aaron Redder, and then, as you mentioned, Gross coming through. His wife Sarah watching us from the US. Again, tough conditions, I'll say, playing in these English weather. Of course, it's some of the players trying to get used to the conditions.
Well, you mentioned your wife being in LA, and certainly, as you say, the conditions being rather November in Brisbane tonight.
Yeah, shorts and t-shirt weather, so I really had a bulk up here on this tour. But Mark Drown, who's in charge of this, has done brilliant work with the kit and keeping us warm.
Pete Austin with the throw into the line out. You could forget those amazing scenes in 2024, defeating the Navy in the last play of the game. Corowally try at Twickenham, but for the moment, he's at the back of this rolling maul and seeing what ground they can make up here. Mikey McDonald flying in with his advice. Those distinctive skins he's wearing under his shirt, and getting close here, earning advantage as well. Advantage being played, and just millimeters away it seems, flinging that out to Jack Johnson, and can't quite gather on the wing, but going back for that penalty.
It's a really nice maul, isn't it, from the Reds? Within 2 minutes, we've seen them have 2 attacking lineouts. One gets spoiled, the other one gets executed really well, puts a lot of pressure on that big American pack. Pete manages to organise it at the back under Mikey's guidance, but then with the arm up, they've got to launch, and Jack Johnson flies around the corner, but unfortunately you can't catch with your toes, right? So that pass has got to go to hand. But here we go, the Reds with ball in hand.
Austin picking up once again with McDonald, but that's brilliant in defence, blitz defence there from the US military, and that ball just being knocked forward, so will be a put in to the British Army. But he's shown his versatility in the last season or two as well, Jack Johnson at 10, hasn't he, Will? He's been great with the boots, and of course with some of the, I guess, the luxury of options outside him in that back line. It's been great for him.
Yeah, he's done remarkably well. He came in not that long ago. He's sort of got 3 inter-service seasons under his belt, and he's really come into the club now, into the team really as a leader. Despite being young, he's in that decision-making role. The guys now, respect everything he says, and he's shown real calmness. And you saw early doors, he's putting the ball into the corners, but then he needs to inject pace. He injects pace, so he'll be really excited. Great performance from him last week as well. Very unlucky to not be awarded man of the match, but he'll be really excited about this evening.
Yeah, for competition, he had Imi Korowale with those 2 tries, so definitely a good choice in the end for that player of the match. But Johnson it is, getting it out to Korowale, runs around Anarova, and out onto that left wing. So close to the British Army this time. And, defending valiantly there, the US military on their line. The forwards pile in. Miyagi this time, the open side. McDonald marshalling his troops. Getting it out, Matt Dawson. And the white scrum cap this evening, playing at number 8. And forwards screaming for it here in those red shirts. All just spilling a little bit. And Rebecca Piddleston bringing them back for the infringement. Penalty.
Yeah, relentless pressure coming in from the British Army side, but the United States military doing really well to stop that. Impressed with Shane Palmer come flying in, and AJ Castle yet again making a try-saving tackle in the corner.
Shane Palmer played in his fixture last year, has been busy. Both men have been busy, as you say. AJ Castle at 15, and not just in attack but defence as well. And certainly for the territory that we saw in the first few minutes in the British Army's half, they've roared back into the US military 22. So far, 0-0 though. Okamothe once again showing his pace on that left wing. Couldn't quite convert. It was good defence there. As McDonald puts it into the scrum. The Army forwards applying plenty of pressure there as Dawson comes round the corner. Beautiful handoff. It's taken down in the end as McDonald looks for other options. Korowale this time outside centre tonight. Coming in there on McDonald, but the referee adjudges that fine. Goes back on the US side. The lines are cleared. Mariana Rova, blue scrum cap. Back to Jack Johnson in the centre of the field, and a nice bit of footwork from Jack Johnson as well. Just finding what space he can. Miyagi Oh, beautiful feet. Look at that speed as well from the Aggie and trying to burst through to the try line. Second inside to Mikey McDonald. Can he stretch and get there? He can. A wonderful score for the British Army, and they convert the pressure they've exerted in the last few moments.
Very, very nice. Great kick return, looking to move the ball. And if there's one person you want in a bit of broken field, it's Oni Nagy. Sevens pedigree, really strong, really evasive ball carrier. He's able to break the line, get some more go forward, keep the ball alive, and then Mikey McDonald able to finish. Really well done.
Unbelievable to watch him broken play, and that's what happens when you don't find touch as well. All of a sudden you get the counter-attack coming from the British Army, and you mentioned Ayangi, I mean, what a player to watch. Had options both sides, and of course a scrum off like any good scrum off, following in his tracks, and then a great score to open things out from McDonald.
I imagine there'll be some frustration, of course, not just for the try being scored, but also with the defence having been holding up for so long, and Johnson looking to add the extras here, picking up where he left off last week in Gloucester.
Yeah, Jack Johnson 3 from 3 last week. His first kick of the game last week, right down the middle, and he's done exactly the same again this evening.
Just over 10 minutes played here in Aldershot, and 7 points to 0 is the lead for the British Army against the US military in this very special Remembrance fixture. Do, of course, let us know where you're watching this evening, be it here in leafy Hampshire or further afield, whether you be in the UK, the US or elsewhere. Do let us know. Rokamothe sadly seems to be limping off the field. He's looking for some medical attention there. Muratoki getting ready to go on, his replacement. A big shame, Will Reeve, of course, for any player, but certainly with how he was playing in the opening minutes of this game. That's not nice to see at all.
No, let's just hope it's not serious. You know, fingers crossed that's something he can bounce back from.
Replacement for the Army coming on at 23, Private Muratoki.
Castle with the restart. Army looking to hit that game on with pace. McDonald looking to link up with Gaz Smith, tight head. He's shoved right back. US defence. Trying to move it through the hands on that far side. Conor O'Reilly. 25th cap this evening.
Impressed with Kevin Harrison there, the hooker from the US military side. Believe it or not, he's a centre. He's his second time ever playing in the hooker position. He was practicing in the back line. All of a sudden the coaches said, listen, we need you up front. You built like a hooker. So he's thrown there. He's wearing number 2. The coaches are Alan Clark and Mike Tolkien. Mike Tolkien used to coach the USA, led them to the Rugby World Cup here in England in 2015. Alan Clark works with Major League Rugby, Seattle Seawolves in the Pacific Northwest.
Alan Clark, who lifted that European trophy with Ulster in 1999. And, former hooker, spent plenty of time in management as well. Get good management, the US military. And coming quickly off that line out. The ball rather floating in the air. Right to Tago. Looking to recycle quick ball, the US military. Nice footwork there from Gross. And the loose head, Murray. Just falling Shane Palmer. That surface is maybe a little greasy, a little mucky with the rain that's falling. Can move that far side now, the US military. That ball just a little bit behind the backs. Good defence from the British Army. Going to protect that slender lead so far, as the US military edge their way forward beyond halfway. Ball comes out again to Irate. And going the other way is Palmer, and ball spills forward but goes back inside the US military, but duly noted by the referee Rebecca Piddleson, and will take a breather.
Yeah, a couple of big hits there. Doc Irie getting involved. He's wearing number 1. We call him the Burrito Man. I saw him at the Rugby Town Sevens a few years ago. He had 17 burritos for breakfast, and that nickname has stuck. Former NOLA gold player in Major League Rugby. What a character he has been for this US military side.
17.
I may have added a few extra.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, Darren. I think he's going to have his work cut out tonight. I think there's going to be a few more scrums than normal. It's a bit greasy. You can see the intent from the Americans. They want to play pretty close to that ruck, get the big guys to try and punch through the middle and then play away. So we're interested to see how long these front rowers last out here this evening.
Just another soldier says, watching from Kingston, Ontario in Canada, home of the Royal Military College of Canada. Darren Smith watching from Roslyn, just southwest of Edinburgh, as that ball trickles its way towards touch. And Ritoki fresh on the field, chasing that down. It'll be a line out. Jamie Wilson in Kings Lynn saying, come on GB. British Army support there. Gary Norton watching from Valley Forge in Pennsylvania. So a good mix of support tonight online as well.
Yeah, it's so great to see. What a wonderful fixture. We mentioned this so many times, and this is growing. If you want to play rugby and you are part of the US military, reach out to us. We need more players. As you can see, they're doing well so far, but a couple of big bodies couldn't hurt.
Some more burritos, perhaps. Ball moves out now. US military looking to push towards the 10-metre line. Coming back to Castle with his left boot. Duranarova just letting that bounce and trickle towards him. Getting that out to Muratoki. It's nice hands to Conor O'Reilly. Seeing what gas he has on the right-hand side. Donald again to a racing Matt Dawson. Ball just being slowed up just a tiny bit, but McDonald coming around the corner and looking to see what space they can utilise with Korowale. McDonald screaming for that ball. It does come back to him. Johnson and through the middle. That's wonderful stuff. Beautiful footwork. Just a shame about the offload there from McGregor Smith, but that was lovely from the forward.
We've seen straight away, haven't we, the Army wanted to vary that attack. They've come up off with Matt Dawson. We've realised they've gone backwards a little bit. They've gone back to that short side with Korowale to try and reinstigate a bit of momentum and a bit of quick ball. And although it was a little bit slow as well, Jack Johnson's been able to find that really nice little drop pass to what was a great line from Dougie. A bit greasy out there, so perhaps couldn't make that stick, but really, really nice.
Yeah, what a run though. McGregor Smith running like a backline player, steaming through. It was certain to be at a second try there, but just the conditions, as we mentioned, a bit slippery as well, but what a beautiful breakout.
I think they all have competitions between themselves, don't they, the forwards as well. Certainly these days, the way they get the offloading game going, they want their hands to be nifty as well, just like any of the backs. And lovely from McGregor Smith.
Yeah, I spoke to Freddie Tafuna before the game. Again, he's one of the front row forwards for the US military. He said he's actually a fly-off trapped in a prop's body. But I've seen him kick. I don't believe him.
He's not the only one, I'm sure, that said that.
There is such thing as a modern prop nowadays. There might be a few knocking around, although perhaps not this evening.
Exercising diplomacy as always, Will Reeve. As the players just pause. The rain coming down a little bit harder, as you say, Dallin. Slippery out there. The handling from both sides has been enterprising.
But there are some really nice sort of combinations within that Army pack. You look at the two second rows, Cody and Dylan, both of whom can play comfortably in the back row. So it's going to be a really mobile, agile, exciting, sort of tight five that we've got in the red shirt this evening.
The US military trying to get that ball back after the Army shove. But the Army earning themselves a penalty. And good work from their forward pack. Taken quickly by McDonald. Moving it through the hands now, Korowale. Korowale's got the pace. Has he got the agility to get there? He certainly has. Touches it down for a second try for the British Army here in Aldershot.
Lovely work. It's becoming a bit of a trademark, isn't it? He puts it into one hand, he skips on the outside, asks that question of the next defender and just puts a little bit of doubt in the mind of the defence, and then he's able to battle himself over the line. Well done to Imi.
Yeah, such a dangerous player. I've only seen him tonight, and you can see why he's a standout outside centre. When you have a player of his ability to be able to exploit the outside space, but also able to step back in, it's so hard to defend.
2 tries last week in Gloucester against Germany. And on the score sheet, this evening again. Maybe Korowale, as humble a man as you could meet. Wonderful talent. Jack Johnson just getting ready to try and add the conversion. Trying to draw that in, but it's wide of the post, and 12-0 is the lead. Just under 20 minutes played here in Aldershot. British Army 12, US Military 0.
British Army using the opportunities really well in these conditions. And again, just having such dangerous players. And this is, you know, the US side was well aware of the dangerous players, particularly those of Fijian descent who have those magic goose steps.
Well, you mentioned their ability just to find that space. And we know, of course, down the sevens pedigree in the US side. Of course, we're seeing it, as you say, with some of the Fijian players too. But what sort of an influence has that had on the style that the US military players like to play?
Yeah, sevens has been tremendous. In fact, there's penalty for the US military side there. The Rugby Town Sevens is the annual competition where the 5 branches of the US come together and play in an annual competition. The United States Army, the All-Army team, is normally the champions, and they field the majority of this side. But it really has helped develop their game, particularly in open spaces as well. But I'm so happy to see that the 15s program now is thriving in its second year.
Great to hear, and now with the ball in hands, earning themselves a penalty. Castle bringing the kicking tee on. Try and get themselves onto the scoreboard. A little bit of a breeze, but sure that shan't worry Castle. He's been busy tonight. Using that left boot in clearance. Now getting ready to utilise it again as the ball sits on the tee. It's just gone wide. Disappointing for the US military. The score remains 12-0. Couldn't add 3 points there.
A little bit unlucky. I think perhaps the breeze has just pulled that across the face of the post, and they would have been very nice to come away with 3 points, having not really penetrated the Army half, but unfortunately they can't. Jack Johnson looks like he's going to welly this back into their half.
The kick comes, and Castle just spilling that rather. Looking to move it outside. A nice bit of pace there on the left wing. That's good. Stir defend. They come again, the US military. This time Follansby. And the kick coming through, little chip over the top. Radhi trying to put the boot in there to kick it back. And back into the US hands. This time Dennis Munster at outside centre. On the blind side this time, Messina. Once again, Ire. Trying a little move with the hands, but back onto the Army side. Knock forward as well is signalled by the ref, and a little chip over the top, which is very interesting. You've got 2 Army players herring after it, and Jack Johnson, the out half. Very, very close indeed, and what can he do with Kodabolavu outside, and well, that's wonderful handling. Lovely stuff, and a great finish from the second row.
I think it's actually Dylan Morris who's gone over. It wasn't that long ago we were speaking about his ability to play in the back row, and here he is, second man to the loose ball. Great work rate from both Jack Johnson and Dylan to capitalise on what was a really clever kick from Mikey McDonald.
Yeah, they realised everybody was up on the defensive side for the United States military. So much space out wide. Johnson with plenty of pace to burn as well to collect that. I love the slide as well. Very soccer-esque after scoring a goal and then popping it up for the beautiful try.
Any fly half worth their salt, I think, would say. I would guess that they've got to put the style in too. As you say, a wonderful slide from Jack Johnson. We're seeing more and more, Will Reeve, aren't we? This sort of hybrid second row, back row player emerging.
Yeah, absolutely, and not just in a red shirt. It's all over international rugby. The selection choices for the England camp, especially, very, very tough choices at second row and back row.
Well, a tricky angle, of course, for a right-footed kicker out on that touchline, but he's done it, Jack Johnson. 19 points to nil now. The score, just under 25 minutes played.
I think if the Army had another couple of fly halves, Jack Johnson could probably play in the second row and be one of the most athletic on the field, but he's stuck at fly half, sadly.
His words are yours. Familiar territory for Castle, waiting to restart. Able to recycle the ball through the phases, the US military. They've had some territory as well. They'll, of course, down, be frustrated so far to have those points on the board to show for it.
Yeah, that's right. They started off well with some nice possession, but now and they have another penalty here, which would be good, you know, to get them in the attacking zone, to get some confidence, get some points on the board as well. You mentioned AJ Castle. Well, his mom Claire and his father Rod and brother Drew drove up from Lincolnshire to watch here, so they're here watching live in person, which is so great for him.
Wonderful to hear the family support. Just here, also watching live on the BFBS Forces News YouTube channel. It's great to have your company. Do let us know where you're watching from this evening. It's great to hear all the destinations, all the places that you're tuning in from.
Simon, let me know if any of my in-laws pop up. I married into an American family. Some of them have seen me play in America with Dallin commentating, but I wonder if any of them have tuned in this evening.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun when you were playing as well. You still had some some great goose steps and some great tries as well. The Rugby Town Sevens, which is such a wonderful event as well. And that's why I know some of these US military players from. But it is so great to see the support from everywhere around the world. And like we said, this fixture will return to the United States in May 2026. We can't wait to be hosts on that occasion.
Yeah, great thing to look forward to, of course, next year. JP watching from Bicester, go Army. Jack base, Jazz base, Norm, I should say, watching from Seattle. Wish I was there again this year with my camera. A wonderful array of places you're watching from. It's great to have your company tonight. As the referee just tries to settle the players down to reset the scrum. Mikey McDonald with ball in hand. Back into midfield. That ball going deep. And challenging Folensby. He gathers, turns, and finds a red wall in front of him of Army defence. That's good from Muratoki as well. Shoving him right back there and putting the pressure on, but they've won the penalty, the US military.
Yeah, good play there from winger Sam Folensby, the Marine Corps officer. Lives in sunny San Diego, so these are very different conditions for him. But I know his wife, Jana, is watching. Parents Annie and Carol, plus his brother Jack as well. He's been one of the new additions in this side. And they've made a real difference so far.
Russell just sizing up the angle. And just going into touch there as well over the tall figure of Jack Johnson.
Yeah, we mentioned the veterans joining for this tour for the first time. They weren't here last year, so it's just a wonderful challenge to the players as well to get them on this trip also and make their presence counting as well. And it's a mental health program for them, and many of them have said, you know, after they've retired or out of the service, finding themselves, you know, at a loss for something to do, and this has given them purpose.
Kevin Harrison, hooker this evening. Ball in hand. Just over the halfway line, US military. To connect at the front of that line out. Comes back to Shane Palmer. Moving that ball into midfield. Nancy Tago, who's been busy tonight as well, in the number 12 shirt. Hitting the line hard. Through the skipper this time, Colin Gross. Just what space is opening up out there for them. Really very diligent in defence. Behind Tago this time, trying to hand off. Muratoki takes him down. Tight head to Funa. Rusher taking that into contact. Another bustling run from Tafuna. Certainly a player to watch out for, as you said yourself, Dan. And his teammates taking this forward very nicely. Only being made to work very hard in defence, and US military moving forward towards that 22. Palmer. Nice little show from Castle. The Army read it very well. Defending outside their 22. Forwards almost competing to see who can have a nice number of carries, but the ball does spill forward. A knock on from the US military and back in to the Army's possession.
There is only one plan, isn't there? Give it to the big guys. Let them bang down the door in this first half, see what they can create. And that's a really nice period of continuity for the US team. I think that's probably their longest phase we've seen in the last almost 30 minutes. All started with Mati Targo, of course, one of the 7 specialists we spoke about. They send him up the middle off that 5-man line out, give them a little bit of go forward, and then they come back to him on the short side, and he's just got that nice deft offload to put someone into a bit of space. But yes, they'll be a little bit disappointed that that's ended in a knock-on, but some really nice period from America.
Yeah, certainly right, Matty Targa. His brother Logan played for the Seattle Seahawks in NFL, USS Sevens as well. Comes from great sporting stock, known as the Grizzly Bear, because of course when he gets the ball, you got to watch out.
Donald to put in. That's good from the pack. When it comes to Johnson, quick hands. Tracked back by Follansby. Hammer to his open side, Fogg. Trying to ship this wide, or the US military. Looking out to that left wing. Really trying to put more pressure on at that breakdown. Comes out to James Irie. Spent some time in the last 5 minutes in this position. The US military, what can they do to penetrate that defence? Ball spills forward again. Matt Dawson diving on it. Johnson putting the boot in. Deep into that dark sky. That's a beautiful kick from Johnson as well. Just outside the 22 it finds touch. And tracked it as well. That's great stuff.
Yeah, amazing play in the end from British Army to have that driving kick. The US really spread the ball wide on this occasion, which really stood us. Had a couple of nice runs taking it wide, but again, it's been very challenging to break the line and have any sort of line breaks against this strong British Army defence.
Both sides have been happy to put the boot in tonight. Quite a few chips over the top. This time a lovely kick just to put the pressure back on territorially onto the US military after a period in which it looked as if they were just trying to break into that 22 and couldn't.
Couple of quick thank yous if you don't mind while we have a quick break. I've got to thank Colonel Mark Drown, who's the managing director retired here. General managers Kevin Flynn, Nick Punamata, both former all-Army rugby coaches in the US. Team manager Dave Enright, medical staff Brian Power, David Morrissey, liaison British Army officer Chris Bailey has been wonderful on this tour as well. Without all those people, really, this game wouldn't be happening. So it's just a big thanks to all of them for all their sacrifices. We're all good to go again.
And the sacrifices made in the chain of command as well to free these players up for training and able to play these fixtures. And Island Living says, go PC Kodabalavu, only number 4. We love you from Fiji. The warmth coming through those messages as well. But, it's not quite straight, that line out. Watching from Australia, go Muratoki, my son. Nathaniel Titcher-Jones, veteran Army prop, saying Gareth Smith still going.
there is nothing like the front row club, is there? It is a unique experience, and hello out there to Turk. We'll make sure that that Bomed lasts as long as he can.
No stranger to the comments section. It's Teacher Jones. Great to hear from you again this evening. Coming around the back, peeling off the Blee. Muratoki. Oh, and into hands, and that's an opportunity for the US to get forward, stir defend, but that ball just finding touch.
Yeah, nice grab there from Del Sturdefen, the flyer, and then that pass just kicked through over the top there. Yeah, the United States military just need to use the opportunities here as we close down 7 minutes to half-time. They get something on the board. It'll do them well getting into the second half. They had a strong second half performance in the over 35 match on Friday.
Ball goes long and into US hands. Going to take advantage of this. It's Munster, the outside centre, to Follansby. Follansby trying to get around the outside of Muratoki this time. And, bouncing off the back of Korowale is the ball. He's trying to jackal over the top, but being told to let that go. Gross. And advantage being played as well. And Castle. It's Munster. And, a penalty here for the US military. 19 points to they trade. And just over 5 minutes to play in this match. In this first half, I should say. Getting ahead of myself. Match. First half. And what can they gain with this kick into touch?
Yeah, nice kick there from Matty Targo. There's some attention for Freddie Tafuna, the Army vet in back play out of the Seattle Rugby Club. He's getting some attention, so they will need him before they can continue. His wife's Kelsey, his daughters Anna, Bella and Winnie, currently watching from an RV in Fairfield, California. So there we have another list watching in from all over the world.
It's great to hear. As we see Michael Fletcher, replacement prop, ready to come on the field for US military. Just a bit of medical attention as the players get some water on board.
Yeah, Mike Fletcher's another great story as well. The belly man, they call him. He was coach for the All Navy since 2021. Generally in the coaching ranks, and then told, listen, we need you. You've got to step up in the front row. So Mike Fletcher, who's inducted in the Old Glory DC Hall of Fame this year, he's about to take the field wearing 17 for the US military. And our thoughts there with Freddie Tafuna as he goes off as well.
He's had a good game, Tafuna. Plenty of carries. Punching the hole quite frequently in that defence. We wish him well. Hope it's nothing too serious. So he heads off the field. And the players deep now into that British Army 22. What can the US military do here before half-time? Ball comes in, goes long and goes loose, but it's gathered up on the white side. But unfortunately for them, the ball finding its way back into British Army possession. As we see Kuna coming off, and a wonderful warm reception for him, which is great. The part he's played in this match. I hope he makes a speedy recovery.
Yeah, just as one player leaves the field for the US military side, we got, looks like Sili Masina. It's down on the ground as well. Took a little knock. The recruiter for the Alaska Army National Guard. Played last year against the British Army, so experienced play indeed. Also had some good strong carries in the opening 30 minutes so far.
Absolutely. Messina came off the bench last year, as you say, starting this game. And he's been busy, as all those US forwards have been so far.
Yep, his wife Easton also plays military rugby for the Women's Department of the Air Force rugby team. The kids are watching. Cass, Sefi and Ku. Well, Dad's getting up. He will also be carried off, unfortunately, as well. So 2 quick injuries here with the US military side. So their bench being used in the first half.
That really might change the dynamic up front. I think 2 powerful ball carriers at front row and back row, unfortunately having to make an early exit. might just change what this second half is going to look like when we get there.
Military. Ben Haparuno.
Papuru coming on for Messina. They put into the scrum here. The US military. What can this pack do in the face of British Army defence? Follinsby trying to come through the middle. The ref calling them back. And a penalty for the British Army.
Yeah, the US military just on roller skates there, getting pushed backwards and conceding a penalty there. And it was unfortunate for them because they had good position to work with. But this will be a nice clearance for the British Army. I take that back.
A clearance nonetheless.
Nothing like a commentator's curse. Coming off the inside of that Jack Johnson boot, but line out comes quickly. And it's Fogg who takes that into contact under a lot of pressure from those red shirts. And, looking to grubber that through. Ranarova coming through this blue scrum cap. Finding a bit of white traffic there.
We've seen a lot of that, haven't we? The little chip kick, the little grummer. You've got to be very careful kicking to this back three. If you can't connect with a good kick chase, this Army backline is going to punish you.
Follinsby watches that carefully sail over his shoulders. McDonald finding touch.
Yeah, it's a tactic that hasn't worked so far in the first half for the US military side, because every time they kick through, as you said, well gathered, and then a deep driving kick, and all of a sudden they find themselves now attacking 60 metres out.
Harrison seeing his options ahead of him. Being taken into the hands of Shane Palmer. No look pass there, which was rather interesting, losing a bit of ground for the US military. They recycle the ball nonetheless. Good take from Ire there. Rather low reception. Speed is Harrison, I love that rampaging run of his. Trying to hit this line with real pace. Palmer now, and a little chip over the top. Muratoki and Ranarova both watching to see what they can do, but back in the hands of US military, and ball spinning forward. It is a little slippery out there. And Muratoki here on this near side. Ranarova playing makeshift scrum half. Blee now through the middle. McDonald finding his half-back partner, who puts the crossfield kick in, and Conor O'Reilly herring this down. And that's well taken in. Been guard Follinsby, this US military back three. And earning themselves a penalty as well. Just a minute or so to go at the Army Rugby Stadium. And British Army still leading 19 points to 0.
Yeah, some good territory there for the British Army to work with. A nice little kick from Johnson, keeping the US pinned in their 22. Sturtevant did really well to cover that and find his teammates as well. But it's been tough going for this US side, and Will, we mentioned this, just to break the line and a few little kicks through to try something different. Of course, has been well handled, and some of those fly kicks have been fantastic as well from the back three.
There we go.
Well, half-time called in Aldershot. 19 points to 0, the British Army lead. A quick summary from you boys. Dallin, you first, the US military side of things. They'll be frustrated, of course, so far not to have converted that territory in possession. Yeah, they've had some good possession, and they've used their players quite wisely. They have attacked around the fringes with some of their very strong forwards, and some nice little back outside hands as well. They've tried some new tactics. It hasn't quite worked out for them, but at 19-0, I think it's a big second half for this side, and I know they've got more in the tank. More of the same, Will Reeve, from the British Army. What would you be saying at half-time?
I think they'll be really pleased to have soaked up some of those big carries. They'll be really excited that they've obviously kept a clean sheet and have scored a couple of times. But they'll be wanting more. They'll want to be a bit more clinical. They'll want to live in this US half in the next 40 minutes, and they'll want to come away with a few more points and turn the screw.
Lots to play for in the next 40 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back very, very soon. But for now, we'll have a look at some highlights from elsewhere in the Forces sporting world. Football time in this match. Thrilling stuff.
Each year, football pauses, and for a moment, the game stands still. Across the country, players, managers and fans come together, not to celebrate victory, but to remember the sacrifice of those who've served and to thank those who still do. From a silence held before kickoff to wreath laying and the playing of the last post. These are just some of the ways clubs mark the occasion. But one thing that unites every top-level club? Players proudly wearing the poppy on their shirt. It's been a staple of remembrance in football for over 20 years. And what many may not know is it all started at Leicester City Football Club.
The event that we've got here today is obviously an annual occasion, our Remembrance match with Leicester City Football Club. And it was the club that actually started the Poppy Match fundraising and awareness for us, because obviously it's not just about raising money, it's very much about raising awareness as well for the Royal British Legion and the work that we do. And the club have always been incredibly supportive.
This season, Leicester once again led their own moving ceremony at the King Power Stadium ahead of their championship clash with Middlesbrough.
They have obviously the massive display of poppies with the 32,000 fans that hold the poppy display up, which is quite an incredible sight.
In the Premier League, Everton Football Club also paid their respects. Before kick-off, Goodison Park fell silent as representatives from the Army, Royal Navy and RAF joined players in laying wreaths at the centre circle. But this year, the act of remembrance began before match day. Everton invited veterans and serving personnel for a special tour. They were invited to be the first members of the public to take a look inside the club's new home.
I'm from Aldershot this morning, so it's a hell of a drive, but yeah, again, here, been hosted fantastically.
And in a moment they'll never forget, players James Tarkowski, Michael Keane and Dwight McNeil dropped by to surprise them.
I can't lie, that was a nice surprise at the end of the day. Yeah, no, it was really good, and they're fantastic lads. It's yeah, great to catch up with them.
So when it comes to football, no matter what colours you wear, on Remembrance, it's only the red of the poppy that matters. Felicity Miles, BFBS Forces News.
Oh, lovely offload, fantastic stuff. And it's another try for the Royal Air Force. What a game we've seen here tonight. Fantastic performance from the Royal Navy, the reigning champions, beaten by the Navy. Another score for the Army. Fantastic way to respond to RAF pressure. To get over the line, he has. And it's a lovely score there from the Air Force. They get their try. They've been searching.
It's been an emotional day for each of those players. A euphoric ending to this one.
Revenge. That's what was in the air for this Forces fight night that packed an international punch. 12 months ago, the Bahrain Royal Guard pulled off a shocking upset win. This year, the Army were determined to put that right. 6 official bouts on the card to this fixture, with craftsman Zach Kaminski looking for a strong Army start.
Ali shuffle. Bit of a shuffle there, bit of Ali shuffle.
His opponent, Private Mohammed Mehdi Sahak, showed some flair to go with his well-timed punches.
Kaminski has taken that middle ground, but Sahak is perfectly happy to accept that.
It was a back-and-forth contest, but a split decision saw the Bahrain fighter have his hand raised to add more tension in the Army camp. Pressure then on Lance Corporal Leon Moulds. but that's fine with him.
Oh, that was a good punch.
The precision and speed of the light welterweight made it a one-sided unanimous decision going the way of the Army.
You know, I knew what to expect of boxing last year, but I just went in the game plan and it works well, so I just carried on with that.
It's easy, I think, when you're sitting here, and I'm sure there will be a number in the crowd who would agree, you know, just how impressive it is and how incredible it is to see you fighting at such an intensity. But just give us a rundown of some of the build-up, of what you've been doing in the last few days to get ready.
You know, we've been up and down the country, sparring, Manchester, London. The last few days is like a taper, sharpening, ready for the big performance.
The sole female bout of the evening saw one of the brightest stars in Army boxing on show. Corporal Felicity Johnston has a lot of supporters in the sport and showed why against Corporal Marianne Camise. She controlled the pace, picked her moments and ultimately tasted victory to put the Army 2-1 up.
Red. Felicity Johnston wins it on a split decision. Yeah, well deserved.
It meant the welterweight fight between Private Dylan Swales and Bahrain's Private Abdullah Al Abdullah would be a key result. Swales provided the range and positioning to pull the trigger with some key combos, and the Army had a 3-1 lead. They could have won the fixture in the next bout, but an accidental clash of heads ended it early with the split decision heading Private Israel Okafor's way to keep Bahrain in the contest. They would still need to win the final bout for a draw though. Guardsman Joshua Young Hastings is the Army's super heavyweight, and his super performance sealed the Army win. These two teams continue to put on a show in what is becoming a key Forces Fight Night rivalry. Kyle Dixon, BFBS Forces News.
The defending champions, the British Army Jackals, went head-to-head with their challengers, the RAF Mustangs, in the decider, after both teams saw off the Royal Navy earlier in the competition. The Mustangs started strongly with a Lewis Truman touchdown in the first minute of the game, capitalising on some prior Army fumbles. They kept the pressure on as quarterback James Turner threw deep for an Elliott Knight completion. That pressure then paid off, another touchdown coming courtesy of Knight to help the Light Blues go 14-0 up, a touchdown awarded despite a flag on the play. Once again, kicker Dylan Pohl added the extras.
The extra point is good.
But the Army fought back with a Drew Newis touchdown, awarded after a flag to leave the score 14-6 at the interval.
But there is a flag on the play.
The RAF started the second half much as they had begun the first with a score, and this time an immense 69-yard touchdown for Elliott Knight.
Elliott Knight, 69-yard touchdown, RAF.
The Army did have another say though.
Pass complete to Drew Lewis there. First down, Army.
It was Jacob Schosson's time to shine. Firstly with the fourth quarter touchdown.
Jacob Schossen with a completion. Touchdown, Army.
And then a catch to add the 2-point conversion as well. It wasn't quite enough to see off the RAF pressure though, and the Mustangs reigned supreme in 2025. Simon Hunter, BFBS Forces News, Abingdon.
That's it. That was fantastic. What a goal. What a goal. Heading to a goal and it's in. And it's a goal. A little bit of space just on the edge of the penalty area and straight into the goal. Fantastic goal. Wow. Challenging in the box. It's in. It's another brilliant goal. Brilliantly taken then. It's a goal, John.
Full time in this match. Thrilling stuff, especially in the second half. That is sensational. match. Thrilling stuff.
Welcome back to this, our live coverage of this Remembrance fixture between the British Army and US military from the Army Rugby Stadium in Aldershot, where the possession and territory may have been back and forth a little bit in the first half, but it's certainly all British Army on the scoreboard so far. 19 points to nil as we look ahead to the second 40 of play. And welcoming back Dallin Stanford and Will Reeve on the mics. Dallin, firstly, what do the US side need to do in the second half? We saw, of course, just unable to convert in some of those moments.
Yeah, I think they need to play in the right areas of the field, and if they're able to keep the possession, you know, in the British Army 22 at least, hopefully they can get some points on the board. I think some of the little kick throughs need to be a little bit better targeted, having more runners there, maybe cross kicks would be a bit better. But I think they are starting to build some confidence with ball in hand. The defense has actually been very good, even though I know they conceded those 3 tries. But I think if they can build on the first momentum and perhaps get some big players to stand up in the right moments, they should get some points in the second half, and then see how they finish.
Will Reeve, from a British Army perspective, they've been marshalled well, stewarded well by that leadership. Pete Austin at hooker, and also the halfbacks, Mikey McDonald and Jack Johnson.
Absolutely, and they'll just want to keep that tackle height down, absorb those big runners, don't let the sort of tiredness creep in and fall into the trap of tackling too high, because they'll either go backwards or they'll get penalised. Off we go.
Johnson with the restarts. The rain continues to fall. Moving himself into the backfield as the US military go via James Irey, prop. He's been a trusted option for them tonight with ball in hand. Ball coming deep into Army territory. And Johnson, the closest man to it. Skewed somewhat, the wind also just fading that ball away from the boot of Jack Johnson, but makes the clearance.
Yeah, nice kick there from Mo Mulitalo, the Army player. Represented American Samoa actually in the game of sevens, is a wonderful gifted player, and that puts the US military side here on a strong attacking platform to work with. Just a quick note, the jerseys, you can't really see it from there, we're looking, but 159 names on the jerseys, and those are players, rugby players, that have lost their lives in the line of duty.
Absolutely, this fixture, of course, about so much more than the rugby we're watching. Remembrance as Colin Gross takes this forward, and that's wonderful stuff from the replacement prop as well. Michael Fletcher getting his side. Good territory here, and that's good from the Army just to force that spillage. Ball knocked on, and it will be a put in to them.
We spoke about asking the US team to be able to penetrate that red defence, and we've seen 2 nice little subtle offloads to that inside runner, been able to do just that. And then as they try to spray it to the edge, unfortunately that slippy ball just pops out, doesn't it? And you can see the frustration from Matty Targo. Unlucky.
Yeah, great carry though from Mike Fletcher, the belly man doing the work there. And then of course Gross, you said, on the inside, having a real good run on the inside. And here we go, good start to the second half, I think.
Donald puts that ball in. Good shove on from the US forwards, and earning themselves the penalty in a very promising position indeed.
This is the momentum I mentioned in the last game. You know, like I said, anytime a team comes together and has a week to prepare, you know, you need match practice. Nothing replicated like playing a match. So, you know, 40 minutes under their belt, now they're starting to feel what it's like to play against this talented British Army side, and things are starting to click.
Castle getting that as close as he can to that corner flag. What an opportunity presents itself at the start of this second half for the US team. Ryan Leonard, the replacement hooker. The ball spilling over the try line, and Army working hard to get that down. The US players think they have it. Referee just looking to consult with her assistant here.
If there was a video replay, I'm sure we'd be watching it. But the white jersey seemed to be celebrating, and the arm goes up. That's amazing. Capitalising on that bouncing ball. Try there for the US Army.
We knew they needed a response at the beginning of the second half, and there they have it. A try for the US military, getting themselves on the scoreboard just as importantly as well.
Number 16, Ryan Leonard.
Ryan Leonard getting involved, the replacement, barely been on the field. He's an ambassador for the Old Breed Rugby Club as well. And basically the Old Breed Rugby Club, they support children of fallen and gravely wounded service members, support their families and their brothers and sisters, which is an amazing organisation. And aptly he scores here for the US military.
Wonderful. Come on as a replacement and have an immediate impact, as he did. It's Fogg here with the conversion attempt. But, just pulling that wide. And the score remains 19 points to 5 in favour of the British Army against the US military. But the US heading back first thing in this second 40.
Yeah, very nice territory from the US military to play in the British Army 22, and they're getting their try. And Ryan Leonard, his wife Brianna, is watching from Arlington. And he actually found out he made this team September while on honeymoon in Okinawa last year. So shout out to his missus for letting him be here.
We'll need permission from somewhere. 3 starts underway. It's a thunderous bit of contact there. British Army doing well in defence. Fletcher took that into the contact zone. US military looking to recycle this through the phases. Trying to clear this, and the boot coming in again, a little grubber through the middle. Initially unsure whether Dawson or Johnson would take it, but Matt Dawson bundling forward. No centre of gravity of his. Always such a threat in attack. It was a bit sloppy there, but Gareth Smith is trying to clean up. Oh, and Korowali with his dancing feet. Look at that from Korowali, taking several defenders with him. Into the 22 now, the British Army. McDonald feigning to a few players. Blee now just over that mark. Oh, and shipping it over to Dawson at the head of a few defenders, and that's lovely stuff. It's Nyagi here, so close with those red shirts. It's Davison, Drew Davison with the ball. Back out it goes to Blee this time in midfield. Balabi doing his best to try and clean up that contact area. The referee calling the penalty.
It's all started with Matt Dawson in the backfield, hasn't it? They're expecting that big clearance kick. The US military choose to just try the little grubber kick, maybe look for that knock on as it sort of bobbles around on the greasy floor. Matt Dawson collects it, gives them some really good go forward, and then from there Mikey McDonald's just finding runners, putting people into space, and then eventually that pressure leads to a high tackle.
Very much in the manner we've seen from Ben Earl of England as well. The ball goes into the corner. A good attacking opportunity here for the British Army. And the referee marching them back.
I think it's been kicked dead, been kicked further out, so it'll be the US military to drop kick out here.
A mistake there from the home team. A chance to clear their lines for the US military. Try and consolidate that good start they've had so far in the second half. So you just see under the floodlights the rain coming down a bit heavier now as well. And of course, challenge the handling skills of both these teams. Miyagi into contact. McDonald to the skipper Austin. Back it comes to Johnson, moving it behind for Blee, and Korowale right on it over on the left hand side. Noritoki just peeling back inside. That's wonderful footwork. McDonald putting a little chip in over the top. Who's there to chase it for the Army? Just evading the hands. But coming back on the Army side, Conor O'Reilly this time trying to move forward. Just inches from the line there, O'Reilly. The crossfield comes through. Who's on the end of it? Nyagi's on the end of it. And trying to get over that line. US players doing their best to hold him up. And held up it is, as signalled by the referee. Very good defending on their own line, but nice little bit of rugby football there from Mikey McDonald.
Well, some exciting play indeed. And Godawale again using the fancy footwork, as you mentioned, in the build-up. Such a talent in these conditions. Tremendous, not just to hold on to the ball, but to beat 3 or 4 defenders. And that cross kick, you thought it was going to be a try. And maybe you thought an offload was going to be coming. But great defence in the end from the US military to hold out.
And the clearance comes, a dropout kick, but only as far as Matt Dawson. Very busy these last few minutes. Here it comes, just flying through. Nyagi now on the outside. It's deja vu here. Nyagi this time has enough to get over the line and score another British Army try. Great response from them in this second half after that early US score.
It's the back row combination we spoke about, isn't it? You don't kick the ball to Matt Dawson and let him run at you for 40 metres. Oni Nyagi doing his best to hold that width, draw that last defender, and Matt Dawson does a great job of just getting his arms free, getting through and dropping it to his back row replacement, who had a bit of work to do, but he's a man of finishing talent. Really, really nice try there.
Dawson's an absolute tank. He really is. When he gets possession, good luck stopping him. He's able to drift free like a wing three-quarter, but in the body of a forward. What a beautiful offload sitting at that try.
Getting a warm applause from Smith. Nyagi as well, as Robertson Jones come on. Replacement prop, second row respectively. It's just pushed a little bit by Johnson. So 24 points to 5, just over 50 minutes played here in Aldershot.
So 10 minutes into the second half, British Army lead, 24 points to 5.
Keep an eye on those YouTube comments to see if Turk mentions this front row replacement.
Replacement also on the US side of things is Logan Legg. Looks to make his way onto the field. Started at full back in this fixture in 2024. Austin Black's heritage as well. It's good tracking from those Army players after that clearance. Stopping the US from a quick line out.
I'm not sure Conor O'Reilly would be too happy with the forwards just watching that ball bounce over their heads and into his hands. He gets caught man and ball. I think he would have liked to see them get in the air and compete and set themselves up for a bit of a cleaner exit, but well done to Mikey McDonald for leathering that out of touch.
Goes deep and comes back towards the US. Lutalo this time. Fletcher to get the offload, the wraparound pass. Palmer just knocked forward from Irae. He'd well be like a bar of soap at this stage, that ball, with the rain coming down.
If it was Burrito, you bet he would have caught it. Doc Irae, but he was the one that claimed the line out. He stuck his hand out, knocked it towards the US military side, and then of course it came back from Billy Power Fletcher and then just hit the deck there. But we mentioned what a character and what a leader he is his side, and the replacements, Harper Puru doing well, impressed us. Another one takes the field. You mentioned Logan Leggy, now he takes the field. The Austin Black player out of Texas comes on. His dad, Mike, played with the Combined Services, was all Army as well. Leg was on this tour in 2024. Jay Castle goes to the side. He had a good, strong performance here. Back for his second time, his family here. We certainly enjoyed that.
Yeah, impressive from the fullback. Kaniusi coming on for the Army. 22 shirts.
British Army coming on at number 22, Sapa Kanute.
Another player with real sevens pedigree. We saw him in the summer, really low centre of gravity, excellent body position, taking names in defence, and likewise being very, very hard to deal with in attack. So be really interesting to see that line up as he looks to stack opposite Mati Targo and see how we go 12 on 12 with some energy and some South Pacific energy, I'm sure.
Radi Anarova coming off. Yeah, he's been a great servant of Army Rugby over the last few years. Dangerous in attack as well. Broken play.
We'll definitely now see a comment from Turk as Gareth Smith comes back onto huge applause. The stalwart, the Royal Welsh hero that is sort of affectionately known as Bombhead, back into Loosehead on this occasion.
Natalie Legg saying, let's go Logan Legg. Mark Griffin saying, let's go USA. Supporting Mark Griffin, USAF from Amarillo in Texas.
It looks as though the replacement in the US back three has seen Castle come off and his replacement actually go to first receiver. With his vanish white shirt in the defensive line, I'm not going to be surprised here if they just give the ball to the new Army inside centre and say, tackle this.
Yeah, Logan Legg, I watched him at training. He's really creative player, infantry officer at the Texas Army National Guard. And you mentioned he's got support watching from all over the world as well. He said their job here is to leave the jersey in a better place. I just love when teams and players say that. It's not theirs, it doesn't belong to them, it comes from the players before them.
Oh, Dawson again, handing off those defenders like it's the easiest thing in the world. And coming through there, penalised is the US player Fogg.
Yeah, Nakoni Fogg just coming on the wrong side there as well. His wife Danielle, actually a great rugby player as well, former collegiate softball player. He's the combat medic as well. Does a lot of kicking also for the side.
Been a bit of a shuffle in the back line in the Army. Bleeder kicking that ball into touch. Jack Johnson moving to full back. Jones, the intended recipient, and takes it in. Dawson round the back. The new man coming, rushing up to that defensive line. Oh, nice little offload to us, and that's lovely hands as well from him to Davison. Trying to ship this wide and quick. But Roberts just, unfortunately for him, not able to gather.
Yeah, we spoke about it, didn't we? We want to give him the ball. Ask that American defence to try and tackle him. Comes around a corner again. Pete Austin on a wonderful line, but then just as the ball wanted to go wide and Blee's got his hands up, unfortunately they find a prop in the channel, and avoiding all stereotypes, I promise, but that isn't quite what the Army would have wanted to see. They would have wanted to get that ball through the hands into Korowali, into Muratoki, and put some pressure on the outside.
You know, you can never tell you were back.
And a pretty good back at that. All right, I got you, Will. I got you. It's 2v1,
You're too kind. You're too kind. That's defence engagement at its finest. A transatlantic relationship fostering. Thank you, Dallin.
Again, it's so great to be here with you two, and again, to broadcasters, to especially our American viewers as well, tuning in from around the globe as well. It's a tremendous honour.
Pleasure to have you with us, Dallin. Will Reeve on this fantastic night. Penalty for the British Army, taken quickly by Mikey McDonald. Looking to move that out. Crunching tackle coming in. Conor O'Reilly just not having enough space out there eventually.
Lovely intent though, isn't it? Mikey McDonald got his hands on the ball nice and quick, gets that tempo going, gets the ball across away from the forwards, trying to stretch that defence when he's got the licence to. A little bit of a margin that the Army are obviously protecting deep into this second half and deep into the American 22, just unable to connect with Conor O'Reilly.
Ball bouncing back and into the hands of McDonald. Familiar face, Matt Dawson taking that. Pete Austin this time, setting the ball back at the feet of McDonald. Nochi moving it outside Korowale, but coming back for the penalty. Good atmosphere here in Aldershot. Plenty have come out to support their sides. Lots of neutrals in as well. People of all ages, which is great to see. Some hardier souls choosing not to be under the stands, but rather on the other side of the pitch.
Yeah, that is amazing to see. This is not California conditions, that's for sure. They're braving the rain. But course, here come the British Army yet again. They've been camped out here for the last 10 minutes or so.
Dawson just drying that ball. The cloth that he has there. Which option does he have? Kosbolavu in that line out, spilling forward into US hands. Out it comes, and Leg this time with that bright white shirt. Doesn't find touch rather well. Does find touch in the end, coming off the hands of Mikey McDonald, who has a wry smile as he gets up to some ironic cheers from those supporting his opponents tonight.
Well, with a name like Leg, of course, you would expect a big boom, and it does just that, and it gives possession back. And it's really riled up the crowd here.
Try scorer Ryan Leonard's replacement hooker with the ball. Ball coming back to Palmer, but chased down by Pete Austin. Over it comes from Tago. A tester for Johnson, and it goes back off his fingertips. Doesn't have much room to work with here at all. And his right boot makes the clearance anyway.
And that's better tactically from the US military side. Because of these troubling conditions, kick it as deep as you can, obviously in the field of play. If it can roll out, or at least get the opposition to kick it out to get possession back. So that's much better than the little kick-throughs we've seen so far in this game.
Not far from the Army 22 now. Let's get ready to set this line out. Medical attention coming on. Some water as well for the players. I believe it has fallen from the sky tonight and only getting heavier. But it's certainly been a very entertaining game to watch. Both sides with moments of absolute brilliance through the hands. When it comes to Palmer, and the defence up very quickly. Tago here, midfield. How quickly can they get this back to Gross, the captain? Back it comes. Ire this time to Dawson. And advantage being played. Gross with the long spinning pass out towards Follansby on that right wing. Nice bit of handling from the forwards this time. Palmer to Leg. Moving that through the hands. Tago this time, and putting a little chip through is Tago. And what space can they find there, the US? Done very well. There's Muratoki, it seems, to chase that down and dot it just over the try line. But, the referee coming back for the penalty.
A very exciting passage of play there, and Colin Gross, shout out, what a pass from the left hand, going all the way top to the wing, and here come the US military sides on attack again.
Fletcher there using his power to good effect, and Ire this time, front row teammate. Not far at all are the US military now from that try line. Trying to pile on through the forwards. Pods line up, and Ire it is, getting over the line. Has he got that down? He has indeed. Another try for the US military, this time Ire. And brilliant stuff from the loose head.
Well, sustained pressure. And Doc Ire, the burrito man, his wife Lauren watching, his daughters Kira, Piper, Sonny and Billy will be absolutely loving that. The US military back on the board. I tell you what, I'm getting hungry just seeing Doc Ire on the field.
You know, like you said, Dallin, really nice period there. Bit of sustained pressure. They've gone to the edges. They've stretched that Army defence, which, in fairness to it, looks really well organised. You can see the correct spacing, grid line speed. But as you get closer to those posts, you just stay tighter, trust that you can build some pressure, and then you've seen there, Big Doc gets in between two defenders, and they're unable to keep him out.
Leg, Julie adds the extras, and 24 points to 12. The gap narrows through that try. Several replacements coming on here for the British Army. Epeli Kotobolavu, Curtis Booth,
16, Lance Corporal
and Ethan Riley as well. Ringing the changes.
21, Corporal Riley. And
Guilherme Kotobolavu coming off the field. Pete Austin, who's put in a good shift as skipper tonight. Leading 24-12, just over the hour mark.
Yeah, the US military coaches, Alan Clark, Mike Tolkien, very happy with that score. Now it brings it within 12 points. We have had an hour played.
It goes into the US 22 from the restart. Tago this time. I think that line with pace again is Tago, as he's done so all night. Penalty. It's a high challenge there.
But that's the momentum you talk about. You keep possession, they get the penalty, and the drill sergeant for the 434 Field Artillery Brigade draws it there. Does Matty Tago. Looked like he took a knock earlier, but he's still going. And Leg will put this downfield for another attacking lineup.
As much distance as he can there on that. We also see Daniel Gabrielli warming up for the US side. Declan Shippensburg man, who started last year against the British Army here. And Leonard trying to go long, and that's a bit messy. Going forward though off the hands of Kotobolavu, who's fresh on the pitch, so it will be a US military put in.
It's interesting how the game sways from time to time, and just a couple of little things going the way for the US military side, giving them some confidence and putting them in the right area of the field to attack with. They're a bit more dangerous as well with some fresh legs on the field, so expect something good here from Logan Legg as well on attack.
It hasn't really been the night of the line out, has it? We've seen some really disrupted line outs, long overthrows, sort of sloppy catches, just because of these conditions not lending itself. But it is the night of the scrum, and here is another one.
Hammer to Leg. Leg not finding too much space in midfield.
Leg just wants to get a bit of dirt on his shirt so he can hide, I think.
Digging for that ball is Palmer. Leg seeing his options. Fletcher this time. Fletcher doing well. And a lovely offload once again from Fletcher. Sturtevant moving it back inside to Leonard, the try scorer. He's got the try line in his sights. He's tackled to the ground. Larry, the other try scorer, and that ball is just being spilled forward and coming out. Muratoki now. Oh, an interception from the US, but can't control it. It's the preconditions. A bit of back and forth, and after all that, the British Army put into the scrum.
Yeah, the crowd on the edge of their seats there with a counter-attack coming there from the British Army, but the Moose, as they call him, Mulekatalu from the US Army, just getting involved there, almost pinching it and getting another score there, trying to keep things down in this territory. Here's a replacement coming into the field as well. A quick mention, wearing 18. In fact, it is Dan Gabrielli. He was here at the tour last year, attended the Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst, in fact, infantry officer. Now finds himself in the US. Fun little fact about him, his favorite job working at Victoria's Secret when he was in college.
Say no more. What a shift from that guy, though, hey? This, some real energy, some really nice offloads. He's managed to really cause some trouble and get in between defenders, get his arm free, keep that ball alive. He'll be really, really happy with a sort of 30-minute cameo.
Yeah, fantastic performance from Mike Fletcher.
Donald standing off Dawson this time. Get the offload coming through. Box kick coming in. Real pressure on him, and Muratoki, look at that from him on the far side on the wing. Had to get the pace. He most certainly has to try and track down this try line, which he does. Another score for the British Army. An absolute brilliance from Adrian Muratoki.
Well, we spoke about momentum, Dallin, and how it swings. Sometimes all it takes is a bad bounce and whatever else, and Muratoki's clawed back 5 points and perhaps a little bit of momentum here going into the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, unbelievable skill on that far side, just bursting away, players falling everywhere. Fallsby wasn't able to take the clean catch, and in the end the British Army raced away for a brilliant score here on their home field.
So that injection of pace right from when he took the ball, and there wasn't any stopping him from that distance when he crossed that 22 line.
It's a really nice exit from the Army, isn't it, off that set piece. Get away from the scrum, give it to the 12, give the backs a little bit of something to do whilst the forwards get up on their feet, come back towards the touchline, and then under your own steam, kick the ball to compete. Muratoki does a great job.
Tricky angle for Johnson, trying the conversion, but he makes it. 31 points to 12. The British Army lead the US military in Aldershot. Just over 10 minutes to go here at the Army Rugby Stadium for this wonderful remembrance fixture.
Be interested to see how the US military are able to grapple back some momentum. You know, they've just had a really good couple of periods, built some pressure, definitely notched up some territory. But unfortunately, with the runaway, they're now 7 points worse off than they were. So it'll be really interesting to see how resilient they are mentally, and if their leaders can pick them back up again.
Leg with the restart. Nice bit of footwork there. Kaniuchi coming through. Box kick from McDonald. Nathan Riley, I should say, who's now in the field. Dobson playing makeshift scrum half. It's Davison and Blee this time. Riley, Kanuthi trying to get the offload away. The US doing well to stop that. Army earning themselves a penalty. Korowale was initially interested in taking it quickly, but placed the ball on the ground, and Lee figures out his options.
Yeah, it's a nice kick over the top and great chase. So many red jerseys around there. It was bound to come their way. Now they find themselves back inside the US half.
Peli Kosabalavu drying the ball. Up comes Jones again. They try and get the driving maul going forward, the Army. Good US resilience so far to this move. Comes Kaniuthi and can't connect with Korowale. Back into the hands of those in white. Back it comes, and Palmer almost being knocked off his feet there. Does well to get that to IRA. Score of that second try. Ball goes deep towards Conor O'Reilly. Tries to run this back and spots a bit of space. Does O'Reilly. Sees support on both shoulders. The ball goes to ground. O'Reilly. Gareth Smith. US military trying to jackal that and did a very good job indeed, earning themselves the penalty.
Yeah, really nice from Conor O'Reilly. Gets the boys some go forwards, sees that half a gap. I think one of the American guys just slipped a little bit, but you can't afford to get isolated there. And Gareth Smith just finds himself without anyone around him, and the defender's able to jump onto that and just win back some possession for the US military. Big shame there for Bombed.
It's great to hear the support, the numbers that we've had in the crowd in Aldershot tonight. The highest for many years, just around the 1,000 mark. The Army Rugby Stadium, which is brilliant to see, and for those of you who've been watching online, it's been great having your company as well as we enter the final 10 minutes of this match.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful week and a half travelling here to the UK for this side as well. To be here, a couple quick mention of some players weren't able to take part today. They picked up injuries or had to leave already. Alex Vinkovic scored 2 tries in the Masters game last week for the US military. Jason Towns, Dawson Smith, Salim Razvi and Mike Melendez Rivera, players who picked up some knocks in that last game, not able to feature today.
Of course, Mike, another sevens stalwart. I think he's got eight wins or something in the last 8 years at Rugby Town.
They call him Magic Mike.
That's it.
Palmer now. Tago just slipping there on this greasy surface. Comes again, and Leonard's taking this ball forward. He's been hungry for that ball all night from loose head prop. Sure. Follinsby this time spots a bit of space through the middle. Half break by Follinsby, up towards that 22 mark now. An advantage coming for them as well. Peterson blows her whistle and reaches for her pocket here.
It looks like Muratoki has been penalised for maybe coming in at the other side of the ruck or off his feet, something that has slowed that ball down illegally. And with the extra man, the Americans have decided to go to the scrum, hoping perhaps to find some room on the edge now without Muratoki in the backfield.
Yeah, great play there from Sam Follinsby. You mentioned the winger cutting through. He said he plays for those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in defending their freedom, and an amazing work there. Matt Griffin's on the wing as well, so some fresh legs for the US military on the outside.
Yeah, a bit of pace coming onto that pitch. He's had an impactful game, Follinsby. Toki now in the sin bin.
The Reds have chosen to defend in a flat 5. No one in the backfield. Jack Johnson's come up on that left-hand edge. I wonder if we'll see another US military special with a little chip kick or a grubber kick, try and exploit that space at the back. But either way, it looks like they're here to put some pressure on this Red defence.
We've had quite a few resets of this scrum. British Army leading 31 points to 12. Just about 5 minutes to go.
Gives me a chance to quickly thank some of the corporate partners that have helped the US military get here. Pennington Paid Company, Cuisine Solutions, Capstone Research, Refined Technologies, Power Fund, Rugby Works, Cormac Advertising, Titan Earthwork, Rasa and Akuma Rugby as well. Without them, we wouldn't be here, so thanks to all those partners.
Here, lots of people to thank tonight. Also those in Aldershot who've put on this fixture at the stadium. Pitch and the stadium ready for game. His leg moves this out now. Munster taking that into contact. That ball just looping up back into Army hands. But a US penalty. Right in the 22, leg looking to take that quickly initially. Tago this time, using his feet, trying to get past O'Reilly. Advantage coming as well. Hiddleston's got her arm out. They try and do it through the forwards. Showing resolute in defence. Pick and go where the forwards still. Getting ever closer are the US military. line beckoning for them. Palmer with his arms outstretched, but not quite there yet. British Army doing their best to try and spoil this. Defending so low on their line. As the waves of US military forwards come. Arm outstretched again, advantage being played. Trying to spread this wide now. It's Tago. Ball just going a little bit forward, I suspect. And they'll go back for that penalty.
There was the space there, wasn't there? They'd done a really good job under the post of sucking in that red defence, getting around the corner, keeping that ball going. Just unfortunately, they're unable to stick that last catch and pass. But we've come back. Interesting to see now what they do to build even more pressure.
Yeah, only 3 minutes to go. An extra player, of course, for the US military side. We're playing the bin for the British Army. It's so close there for Matty Tago. He's been such a brave player today, taking up all the contact there. But Stephen was going to be awake, but called back.
As you exit. Could I please ask you to do that? There will also be a presentation at the end of this game with the Field Marshal, Sir John Dill Shield. And that'll be made by the losing president or chair of the team to the winning captain.
Just a bit of a pause in proceedings. A few minutes to go. And scrum forming. Calling for that scrum option. Good attacking position for the Americans. Palmer puts that ball into the scrum for the US. Gross trying to move that now through the hands. On that far side. Have they enough space to play with here, the US military? British Army doing very well to try and bundle them into touch. And they've turned that ball over as well. Clearance comes and finds touch.
They'll have another chance though, won't they? The British Army have only got that 22 metres out. They'll be a little bit frustrated, trying to build those phases, trying to build that pressure, but sometimes before you get bundled into touch, you've got to just throw it back in field. And that's what's happened.
Yeah, some clean jerseys on the field for the US military side. George Smith, known as King George, takes the field. And then Cliff Davidson, he's ranked 25. Both players from the US Army finally get their time to shine on the field with a few minutes to go.
Wonderful efforts from both squads tonight. Lots of players making a real difference in this match. Back in the element somewhat too. And the crowd noting that too with some lovely applause. Trying to ship this wide are the US military. Army drift defence coming over as well. Munster this time. Trying to get himself over that 22 line. Solid defence from the Army. Like just changing his mind, but finding 3 Army defenders. Oh, and Davison, a nice little chip over the top. He's trying to run after it here. As is Jack Johnson, who wins the race and dots that down.
Yeah, just trying something new, but going over, if he could try kick it to the right-hand side, there were players coming up for the US military, but in the end, lightning speed, Johnson was there to stop proceedings.
Just seconds to go in this clash. Johnson putting that into the night sky as far as Tago. One last chance you'd suspect for the US military to mount an attack here. Driving forward is Leonard this time. Moving it through the hands. Gabrielli. It comes again to Davidson. That chip in just moments ago. Trying to find whatever space is there, but only as far as Davison for the Army. Leonard again. Into that Army 22. Ball looking like a bit of a bar of soap at the moment. Oh, the Army now mounting a bit of an attack on that left-hand side. Just spilling the ball. Not quite going to hand, being knocked forward. And the referee calls it full time in this remembrance match between the British Army and the US military, and the home side winning 31 points to 12. We've seen some great rugby from both sides. It's been a great atmosphere too, and a resounding win, Will Reeve, firstly for the Army.
Yeah, well done. 31 to 12. It's 43 points through 80 minutes of wet, greasy, windy rugby. So hats off to both sides. Congratulations to the British Army on the win, but absolutely let's not forget what we're here for. Congratulations to everyone involved. What an amazing way to mark this event. And two great games in sort of 4 or 5 days, with the Masters obviously on Friday evening. Congratulations again to them for their victory, and what a pleasure it is to host the US military here down in almost the home of Army sport in Aldershot, and what a place for them to be at Royal Military Academy Sandhurst.
Yeah, echo those thoughts. What a brilliant British Army side, and credit to the US military team. It's a 12-all in the second half. If you take out the first half of the 19 points, momentum for them in the second period. They'll be proud of that, and we'll come back stronger next time. And again, congratulations to both these two brilliant squads, and of course doing their countries proud.
A good performance from those on the US side of things as well, Dallin. But left points out there, you feel also.
Yeah, definitely. In the first half, they played a lot of rugby, but not potentially in the right side of the field. They kicked away some possession, which didn't work out for them in the end. But you saw the way they tactically played in the second half, keeping the British Army pinned down, and they're rewarded with some 2 brilliant tries in the second half.
British Army defence, you alluded to it earlier, Will Reeve, was made to work very hard, because that US military side just kept coming and kept coming.
Yeah, and it looks like they prepped for it, isn't it? They probably knew what was coming after last year, and they obviously had one eye on Friday evening's fixture. They know these guys are going to be big and strong, athletic. I think they probably changed their preparation a little bit to a normal fixture. Most of the time it's about how do we deal tactically with teams, but a team that's quite as young as the US military is probably a little bit more physical than it is tactical. And I think we saw exactly that this evening. But hats off to the defence. Defence is about attitude, right? So to get into that straight line, that connected line, and to keep that line speed up for 80 minutes is credit to the attitude and the preparation of the Army Reds this evening.
We certainly talk about that special relationship between these two nations, Dallin, and certainly developing into a special rivalry as well, and a special tradition as we look forward to what's coming next year.
Yeah, I think it's so great, and they've added the veterans as well, the over 35 game, and I think that's wonderful also. And then getting to host in the United States, I think it's going to be amazing to get the British Army that side. We've seen the sevens team come, and they've won the Rugby Town Sevens on a couple of occasions, but to have this 15s program there is special. We mentioned these two allies, off the field, share such a bond, and it's so nice to see them shared on the field as well.
Who was it, Dallin, that stood out for you most tonight on that? A team performance from both sides, but who stood out for you most for the US military?
Yeah, Colin Gross I thought was excellent in the forwards. He handled this off really well. Mike Fletcher had such an impact when he came on, and you mentioned Will as well. And then Matty Targo in the back line. He really carried the team on his back, taking hit after hit, setting things up as well. Those three to me stood out tonight.
Matt Dawson, you mentioned him earlier, Will Reeve. He was one of the standouts, of course, for those in red.
Yeah, absolutely, and his back row partners as well. Drew Davison doing what he does, putting his body on the line, making tackle after tackle, and of course Oni, who didn't play all of this evening, but he's on the end of things. He offers the Army real width. He's really confident in playing in those channels. We spoke about his sevens pedigree. It's just basic skills. He's really evasive, really powerful, and he was rewarded with the try this evening. So massive shout out to the Army back row.
Nice to see as well for the British Army some different combinations being tested. We saw, of course, Blee with the final sort of passages of play as first receiver, and Johnson going to full-back. So it's nice, of course, for the Army coaching staff to know that they have those versatile players.
Well, they have to find those combinations, because there is no guarantee of people making it to Twickenham at the end of the season, you know, from a injury point of view or from a work commitment point of view. You know, remember, all these people are operationally deployable, and you don't know what's coming down the track. So Jack Johnson's been you know, sort of front and centre of that spine of the team for a few years, but they've got to build some depth, they've got to build some combinations and change the picture for the defence, because the Royal Navy, they've won it twice in the last 3 years. They know what the Army brings. Likewise, the Army knows what the Navy brings, but you've got to change that picture and you've got to prepare for that early in the season.
Great to see, of course, the spirit that this match has been played in as well, Dallin, as players form tunnels and applaud each other through the crowd as well, doing the same thing. But it's a wonderful part of this as well, making those lifelong friendships.
It really is. You know, this program was founded in 2024, the USA military program. It's a non-profit as well, and so again, self-funded. We mentioned these players making their way here to do this, but they do this for the love of the game. They do this for the love of their fallen brothers and sisters, and of course for their families out here. And again, speaking to every single player, they said this is one of their greatest honours of their life, is to be representing the USA military. So we thank everybody who supported them, and we obviously thank the British Army for having us.
Great scenes here as teammates hug and high-five each other, and of course those from both sides as well, getting ready for a presentation of Field Marshal Sir John Dill Trophy, which both these sides are playing for tonight. The US Defence Attaché, US Colonel Corey Shea, who will be presenting that trophy to Pete Austin. Colin Gross behind him there. The cameras get their shots. Applause from both sides. Pete Austin huddled in that as he raises the trophy to cheers from his teammates, huddled in that coat as the rain continues to come down this evening. Wonderful scenes, and scenes that we hope to see for many, many years to come. And good to see that depth, Dallin. When you look at that US military side, and we see Colin Gross shaking hands with dignitaries, the likes of Logan Legg coming on there. We know he started last year, coming off the bench this time. Brilliant signs for US military rugby.
Yeah, 100%, and I think that's the great thing about having some of the younger players involved there, around some of the veterans. And I spoke to a lot of them saying, they said, this is, you know, I've only played rugby for a handful of times, like Kevin Harrison at hooker. First weekend playing in the hooker position is not something you just go on and jump into. I think it's very positive for the future. And again, any other future rugby players looking to join this group, you can obviously find out, reach out to the US military rugby side. We'd love to have you.
Lovely from both sides, arm in arm here. Photographs and holding the trophy together. Smiles all around as well. Conor O'Reilly it is, holding that shield right now, the Field Marshal Sir John Dill Trophy. And a lot of tired bodies there, of course. We wish well those who came off earlier. The depth of both squads tested. And with a delighted Pete Austin, and Kath Brazier is pitch side with both skippers. Pete Austin and Colin Gross are with Kath Brazier.
Captains got Colin Gross from the US military and Pete Austin, of course, from the British Army. Colin, if I come to you first, lovely British weather for you to begin with. I know you appreciate that, but proper rugby weather as we have it here in the UK. How enjoyable was that game?
Oh man, that was, I mean, couldn't ask for a better game physically. I thought we brought it really well physically. I think, you know, the ball bounces our way a few more times, we execute a little better, we can come away with the win there. But, you know, all credit to the Army boys, the British Army boys. They put together a really good game, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity to play with you guys, so really appreciate it. Yeah.
Pete, it was very physical, but I know that's the kind of game you like. What did it look like from an Army perspective?
It was, we planned for you guys to be coming pretty ferocious up the middle of the field, and that's what you did all game. And we went through long periods of defence, and credit to our boys for sticking in and just making tackles, rolling and getting away.
You're used to these, you know, big physical sides, but there were some units coming on there, weren't there, Pete? Did you were sizing up as they came on? Yeah,
for sure. We definitely need to work on our tackle height, maybe. Yeah, these big, you know, they're big, strong lads, and you tackle high, we're going to struggle. So we need to work on our tackle height, get low.
Colin, back to you. I know that it's a question I've got to ask, but it's not just about rugby tonight. How important is it that you're playing for Remembrance actually on the 11th of November?
It means everything for us. Like this whole event is around that. You look at our jerseys, it's kind of dirty, but our jerseys have the names of fallen rugby players like across it. So, you know, we're playing for something bigger than ourselves today, and I thought we did a very good job of doing that, representing more than who we are, you know, as a person. So yeah, it means a lot.
And I guess you look forward to many more of these kind of fixtures in the future.
Yeah, we hope the British boys can come over to the States and get a couple games in. I think we can put together some really good games if they come over and get some, yeah, really good game.
What do you think, Pete? A November tour to the US sound good?
Yeah, I think that sounds perfect for us. We just come tomorrow. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. No, your kit is lovely, and we don't quite have names on our kit, but over the last couple of days we've had lots of briefs, lots of talks about how much Remembrance means to us and how much this occasion is such a big occasion, and it's brilliant.
Well, guys, you both played really well tonight and did your countries proud. Congratulations, and go and enjoy the celebrations with your team.
Brilliant. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Great to hear from both captains there, and just time for a quick summation, some final thoughts from both you gentlemen. It's been great having you alongside. Firstly, Will, what you've seen tonight and how exciting this is, how it bodes well for the future.
Really exciting, and really pleasing to see the big smiles on everyone's faces this evening. It's 80 minutes of hard rugby. They've all prepared for it. You know, the US military specifically with a fixture last week and then into this evening. They'll be really, really pleased. The score's almost irrelevant now. You know, the full-time whistle's gone. We've had our Remembrance fixture and we've played 80 minutes of great rugby. A brilliant spectacle for both service rugby and the relationship that we have. And at risk of talking politics, during a time where relationships are fraught, it is brilliant that we can see this here this evening, just as the Reds pick up their season with only half an eye on what comes next year. But of course, the even further view for the US military as the game continues to grow over in America, with the likes of the World Cup coming down the track, and the seven-a-side game being a real strength of theirs. So really, really exciting stuff. We look forward to 2026. If you need a commentator, please let me know and I'll jump on the flight. So thank you for having me, and I'll hand over to Dallin here to wrap up.
Yeah, you said it so superbly as well. It's such a historic fixture. We can't wait to host you in May 2026. And the next part, obviously, what's going to happen now, which is my second favourite part about the rugby game, is a banquet. Both teams are going to get together and share a meal. And that's what I love about this, is seeing the interactions, seeing the players that know each other from the previous year, and now continue that friendship and lifelong memories. It's a moment these players will never forget. And this is an annual fixture, and we can't wait to see you on American soil very soon. Thanks for having us. We've thoroughly enjoyed ourselves here in these warm conditions.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you both. Hopefully your company tonight online and in the stadium has definitely warmed us up, I think it's fair to say. Perhaps symbolically the scoreboard has been put back to 0-0, as you allude to there, Will Reeve and Dallin Stanford. It's a great rivalry, a great friendship between these two sides. We've got plenty more live Forces sport coming up. Just go onto our website, forcesnews.com, for plenty more details of how you can watch, or you can search BFBS Forces News on our social media. We'll see you very soon.
That's it! That was fantastic! What a goal! What a goal!
Heading toward goal again.
And it's a goal!
A little bit of space just on the edge of the penalty area and straight into the goal.
Fantastic goal. Wow!
Challenging in the box. It's in! It's another brilliant goal. Brilliantly taken then.
It's a goal, John!
Double time in this match. Thrilling stuff, especially in the second half. That is sensational.